We're going to take a look at going from standard to vertex form. And again, all of these can be found in your formula sheet. Standard forms looks like ax squared plus bx plus c. And we want to go into vertex form, which basically has one parentheses. All right, so we have it in standard form. So you see the squared, the one with the variable, and the constants already there. We just want to make it with one parentheses. All right, so these are the steps that are going to need to be taken in order to do that. And another word for this would be complete the square. So sometimes you'll hear people say, take it from standard to vertex form, or they'll say complete the square. I'm going to give you a visual of complete the square a little bit later. For right now, we're just going to talk about the steps. All right, so you'll need to rewrite the equation so that it looks like this. So you have the squared term and the one with the variable, but you need the constant, the one without any variables, on the other side of an equal sign. So we have, this is our question right here. So we need to go ahead and put that on the other side of an equal sign. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have the one with the variable squared plus the one with just the variable, and I need an equal sign, and I need to put the constant on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put an equals 0 really quickly, and we're going to add 9 to both sides, right? So that gets rid of that. So this will be a positive 9 on that side. So now we've made it look like this. That's the very first step. All right, if a is not equal to 1, so we're going to go look at what a is. So here is a. If this right next to x squared is not equal to 1, which it is not, okay, we're going to follow these steps. Factor out the a and leave a space after the x variable. So it should look something like this. So we're going to put the a outside the parentheses. So this is a 3 outside. Then we're going to have n squared. And then we're going to do b divided by a. And this is part of the factoring. So factoring is division. So divided by 3, right? You can see that this is going to be the 1. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then leave a space and then equals 9 on that side. And you can see that if I distribute this back in, you're going to get 3n squared plus 6n. So it's factoring is just dividing. Okay, so distributing is multiplying, factoring is dividing. Once we've done that, it says skip a line and then write this out. So let's skip a line, which basically means skip some space because you're going to need to write it. And a goes outside, then x, which in our case is n, leave a space, squared, leave a space, equal sign. All right, so I've done that. Complete the 3-step process. All right, so what is the 3-step process? It's take half of b, okay? So take half of b. B is the one right here with the x. So that's this one right here. Take half of b. Square that answer, multiply, and apply to the other side. Take half of b, square it, multiply, and apply to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. So take half of b. So here's b. Take half. That means divide by 2. Okay, that's what that means. So we're going to do it this way. Divide by 2. That's going to give me what? 1. Take that answer, square. All right, what does squared mean? Multiply by itself. So 1 times 1, which is 1. And then the last step is multiply it and apply it to the other side. So multiply 3 and 1. Those 3 times 1 is 3. Apply it to the other side, which is plus 3. So again, let me walk you through the 3-step process. You start in the middle. You take half of it, whatever that number is, divided by 2. Whatever that answer is, then you're going to square it. All right, you're going to square it and put it right there. Then the last step is you multiply what's outside the parentheses with what's you just squared and apply it to the other side. So you put it to the other side. All right, so now that we've done that, then we've got our 3-step process. So we have, the only thing we have left here is 9 plus 3, which is going to be 12. Okay, and then let's see what we're doing after our 3-step process. Rewrite the function to look like this. In other words, now there's no equal sign. We didn't have an equal sign in the beginning, so we have to basically get rid of that equal sign. We only need the equal sign in order to do the math. So that means this on this side needs to come back on this side. So how do I get rid of 12? Subtract 12 from both sides, or subtract 12 from both sides like this. So this is going to be 3n plus 1 squared minus 12. And this goes away, which basically means equals 0, which is equal to the 0 we initially, put there. So now I don't put anything there because the question did not have an equal to, so I'm not putting an equal to, but that's how you complete the square. So now you can see that I have gone from standard form I have gone from standard form, it looks like this, to vertex form with 1 parenthesis. Well, we are going to double check this answer. Of course, instead of n, I'm using x, and I'm just typing out my original question. And in order for me to see if I'm right, remember it has to match, correct? So instead of n, I'm using x. Does it match? Yes, it does. So this is completed correctly. So again, does it go over the line perfectly? It does. So anytime you're given multiple choice, you're typing in the questions and you're typing in the answer choices to see if they perfectly match. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a special situation. You're going to do example 2, but I'm going to do example 3, and please go ahead and correct that. That's example 3. All right, I'm going to do a special situation. I'm going to type in, because this is multiple choice, right? I'm going to type in the question, x squared minus 4x equals -6. This time there's an equal sign, and again, it doesn't matter. You just type it in. All right, then I'm going to type in the answer choices. So this is x plus 2 squared equals -2. Okay, so this is my first choice, and I'm going to copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, and just change in the answer. So this one is -2, and just make sure that when you're changing this, you're double checking it. This is +2, and this is +2. This one's -2 and +2. All right, so I've typed in all my answer choices. Okay, and so here's a problem. I don't even see my original equation to check whether it matches. If I zoom out, I don't see it. So because I don't see this, there is a special thing that I do need to do. So I'm going to click home. All right, just to bring us back. And here is what's going to happen. If you type in your question and you don't see your graph appear, okay, it means that it doesn't have any solutions. And what the solutions means, again, it means x-intercepts, roots, zeros. Okay, so zeros, meaning it doesn't cross the x-axis, has no zeros, no roots, no solutions, which means it can't have an equal sign. So right now I have an equal sign, which is asking basically where does it cross the x-axis? Well, apparently it doesn't cross the x-axis, that's why it's not appearing. Okay, so take everything, in order to make it appear, take everything to the left side and drop the equal sign. All right, so we're going to take this to the other side by adding 6 to both sides. When I add 6 to -6, I'm going to get 0 on that side. But remember, if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other. So I'm going to add 6, and boom, you see, it's appeared. And what do you notice about the graph? It has no x-intercepts, no roots, no solutions. That's why it doesn't appear with an equal sign, because when you put an equal sign, you're asking it, what are your x-intercepts, your solutions, your roots? All right, so take everything left side, drop the equal sign in both the question and the answer to find the match. All right, so first we're going to do this. Let me see if the match appears. The match doesn't appear. What about that one? Doesn't appear. What about this one? This one does appear because there are x-intercepts already, so I didn't have to take this to the other side. But we definitely know that's not the answer. What about this one? This one does appear, which means, again, it crosses the x-axis, which means this is not the answer. These two don't appear. Why don't they appear? Because it does not cross the x-axis, does not have x-intercepts, roots, zeros, or solutions. So to find that, we just got to rewrite it without the equal sign. So we got -2 here. To get rid of that, we're going to add 2 to both sides. So that's going to go down to 0. And on this other side, I'm going to have a +2. On this one, same thing. It's -2. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. This is going to give this to 0, and then I'm going to have a +2 here. All right, now let's see if it appears. If I click this, it does appear, but does it match? It does not. So we're going to get rid of that answer. Finally, this one is a perfect match. I've forgotten which one it was on A, B, C, D, but I can definitely see that it has a minus sign in the parentheses, so it's not this one, and it's not this one, so it's one, either B or D. All right, it needs an equal sign. So again, remember, if we're going to put an equal sign and we want to put this to the other side, what I'm going to do is subtract 2 from each side. That's going to bring this one to 0, and this one's going to be -2. So that one is going to be my solution, which is B. All right, so again, if it doesn't appear, if your graph does not appear, it means it has no x-intercepts, no roots, no solutions. To make it appear, you're going to have to get rid of the equal sign, which means anything on the right needs to go to the left, and then you can put it back in at the very end. Yours is not that kind of situation, so go ahead and complete example 2. Type in the question, type in the answer choices, tell me which one matches specifically. Let's practice.